What can't you believe still exist in 2024? Companies that allow you to subscribe to a service online, but make you call them if you want to cancel. In California, if you created the auto-renewing subscription online, companies must allow you to cancel it exclusively online. No phone calls, mailing forms, etc. Supermarket tabloids. Does anyone still actually purchase these things? Companies? I don't know how they still get people to join them, since a 10-second Google search will show you that they are all a scam. Online forums that don't like apostrophes in names. As someone who has an Irish last name, it's super frustrating. If you could add a 0 to the end of any number in your life, bank balance, lifespan, etc., which one would you choose and why? My hourly pay rate? $320 an hour sounds great. Oh, that's brilliant. Rather than getting a lump sum, this is actually more beneficial. Add a 0 to the number of observable dimensions and really get really enlightened. Cool, so I could have a 10-inch dick? Percentage chance of desired outcome in any given scenario. Anything over 10% is now guaranteed, and even the terrible odd stuff is now pretty good. Casino now guarantees me infinite money until they ban me, and mortality situations with only a 5% chance of surviving now went up to 50%. My bank balance is currently negative, so not that. Well, if say the median age life expectancy for me is in the 70s, if I slap a 0 on that baby, my investments will likely make me one of the more wealthy people in the world in, say, just 400 years. What's the best I told you so moment? I was in freight. I delivered a pallet that was supposed to have 750 pieces. It looked a little short, so I asked the customer to count it. He refused 3 times after I explained to him if it was short, they're going to deny your claim. He said, "Don't worry." I said okay and noted it on the paperwork that he refused to count. He signed it. 2 weeks later, he called the customer service rep to report a shortage and make a claim. The customer service rep called me and asked, did I remember it? I said, yep, read the notes. She said, oh, he refused to count it? Claim denied, thanks, bye. Lol. Ex-boss, who I was not fond of, had a vehicle he wanted to sell. He met someone who wanted to make payments on it, used private party, but take possession when they made the first payment. I told him not to do it. I said it was almost certain they will crash the car and then just stop paying, and he'll be left with a damaged car and no money. He told me I was dumb and went ahead with the deal. Okay, whatever you say. For a couple months things were good, and he was pretty smug. Then he comes in one day and tells me to research what happens if the above scenario happens, and the car was in a tow yard collecting fees. He wanted to know if he was responsible for the fees. I didn't even look up. Yep, if you want the car back, you are. In the late 80s, I worked for my Mael as a regional manager of her business. I worked very long hours for $500 W. At some point, I told her that I deserved a raise. She asked me how much I thought that I deserved, and I replied that she couldn't replace me for less than $1,000 to WK. She responded that she was sure that she could, so I said, fine, show me. She had trouble finding someone, and finally had to pay the $1,000. But after 2 weeks, he was totally incapable of doing what I did, so she had to split it into 2 regions and hire a second guy at $1,000 per WK. After 6 months, she discovered that they teamed up to embezzle about $15,000. Of course, she never acknowledged to anyone, especially not me, that I was right, and she f***ed up badly. When I was in high school, 15 years ago, during a basketball game, the coach pulled me out and berated me for not boxing out the opponent for a rebound. I did box her out, and I knew it, so I talked back to him. We really got into it. That really ticked him off, so I didn't go back in the rest of the game. The next Monday at school, he pulled me into his office and said he watched the game film over the weekend and apologized because I did indeed box her out. Honestly, kudos to him for owning it. Booked a flight to Bangkok with a canceling insurance, and almost all of my friends laughed. Why'd I spend extra money on such thing? They weren't laughing. March 2020. Working at a tire shop. Customer bring in a Land Rover Range Rover with air suspension for a set of tires. I watch the tire changers start to set their little scissor lift under the frame to pick it up, and I go over and stop them. I tell them that they should take it down to the second drive-on rack and use the swing jacks under the axles, or else they're going to blow out the suspension. The assistant manager overhears this and comes out into the shop saying that I just called Land Rover and they said that to turn off the air ride, all you have to do is open the rear hatch and turn the hazard lights on. Just pick it up where it is and get on with it. The customer's waiting. At that point, I said, well, you heard the man. I'm going to go back down by my toolbox. Holler if you need me. About a minute and a half later, what sounds like a shotgun blast is heard throughout the shop. They lifted the truck by the frame and blew out all 4 suspension airbags, just like I said would happen. They eventually wound up putting it on the drive-on lift and using the swing jacks, just like I told them to do. Then, the customer got to drive all the way from Manassas, VA to Alexandria, VA on the bump stops where the shop I was working for paid $6,000 for a set of used suspension airbags to be installed. God forbid the guy who's actually worked on Land Rovers before might know what he's talking about, even if I had only been at that particular shop for 3 days. At least they started listening to me when I told them stuff. Growing up, what are items only rich kids had? Ski lift passes attached to their winter jackets. A new car at 16. Honestly, even a used car says rich to me. The giant box of Crayola crayons with the sharpener in the back. A Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis. Dedicated child play spaces, playrooms, and homes. What should you do if you suspect that your wife is a serial killer? Tell her that you don't believe in life insurance for a start. Take her somewhere nice, more often. Nice but not secluded. Step 1. Accidentally leave out a note of people who have wronged you. Step 2. Check obituary. Step 3. Step 4. Profit. Be the most famous true crime podcaster for at least a couple months. What is something that you will never give a fuck about? All celebrities, for that matter. The love lives of celebrities. Fandom drama. Fashion. I don't care what is in, I wear what I like and what is comfortable and appropriate for given situation. I am not going to a job interview in my pajamas, regardless of how comfortable they are. Anti-aging products. I'm 47. I have crow's feet and laugh lines. My body is falling victim to gravity. My hair is turning white, and I have wicked stretch marks. I was blessed with the ability to conceive and carry a big baby, and getting to live to my 47th birthday. I'd rather travel with my husband and son than buy all the shit I'm supposed to want so I can look younger. What was an industry secret that genuinely took you aback when you learned it? Not sure if this counts, but when I was in car sales, I learned real quick that the actual car itself isn't where the real money is at, but the back end is. So like warranties, getting work done, etc., etc. Most dealerships will still put up a fight on the actual price of the car though, because they know most people are focused on the car itself. This is also done to help wear you down, so you're less likely to fight on the back end when they say they'll discount the car price down to X amount, but you have to get a warranty or two with it. More often than not, most people will cave because they got 2 to 3K off on the car and don't realize the warranties are adding on 2 to 5K, and warranties are often straight profit. Different dealerships tweak the above strategy to their market, but generally they all play it to some degree. I don't know if it's a secret, but I remember hearing someone ask a doctor why they specifically say to turn your head before coughing when assessing for a hernia. The doctor said there wasn't a medical reason, but it's so you don't cough on me. A lot of aisles in grocery stores are sponsored. The soda aisle, for example, the store didn't buy that merchandise, it's stocked by a vendor. Supermarket shelf space is a cutthroat market. Notice that the name brand stuff is always at eye level, whereas generic items are near the floor. That's not by accident. General Mills paid big money to put those Cheerios right in front of your face. As an electrician, I'm amazed more houses don't burn down every day. I do my best, but many others just work as fast as they can and leave behind shoddy work that sometimes literally falls apart when you touch it. That if you are asked to rate someone's customer service, e.g. your bank lender, salesperson, etc., out of 10, anything less than a 9 in some places may as well be a 0. Whenever you fill out a survey like, "How did you like our website today?" most of the time, an actual human does read your response, and it doesn't disappear into a black hole. Fill out surveys. Your perspective is critical to understanding what you guys actually want. Well, that's another episode of Ask Reddit in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.